Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today we will go over how to create and use a spirit doll. Some people call them voodoo dolls. That's what they're most popularly known as outside the esoteric community. Voodoo dolls. People from European traditions, neo-paganism, often call them Poppets. And then in Hoodoo, they're often referred to as doll babies. So there are different words for this. Today I'll just be calling these spirit dolls. And the reason that we call them spirit dolls is because this is said to house the spirit of the person that you're affecting. So, now dolls are used for different purposes. In this video, we will mostly be focusing on affecting a target, affecting someone through spells and witchcraft. However, dolls are also used for other purposes. For example, in Voodoo, in Santeria, in some traditions, dolls are actually used to connect to a Lawa or an Orisha. So sometimes it's used to connect with the spirit. Okay, so that's another way of looking at a spirit doll. But that's a totally different use. This is said to house the essential nature of the person that you are going to affect. Now, voodoo dolls or spirit dolls, doll babies, whatever you want to call them, these are often associated with destructive magic. You know, in Hollywood, they always depict someone picking needles, poking the doll with needles or pins. That's not always the case. These are often used for healing, long-distance healing. They are used for cleansings, blessings, to bring someone prosperity or love. So these are often used for more positive work. For example, spirit dolls are often used to do long-distance cleansings or to affect someone, a client that you're working for long distance. Now, there are two basic things to understand about a spirit doll. You'll need two things. You will need the appropriate herbs and the personal concerns. So very basic. Now, first of all, a doll baby or a spirit doll could be made out of different materials. Cloth is really popular. Cloth is really easy to make, to construct. Cloth is easy for packing it with herbs and personal concerns. And so cloth is very useful. However, cloth is not very good for getting wet. If you're going to be doing a cleansing with water, then a cloth doll may not be a good idea. You could also make them out of clay, in which you can pack the herbs and ingredients into the clay. Wax, you can dig out a little hole in the wax and put in the herbs and fingernails, whatever, and then seal it. You can use clay. So these can be made out of all kinds of different things, even wood. Okay, so there are two things that you will always need in a spirit doll. First of all, you will need herbs. Herbs are believed to have occult properties to them. Just like herbs have medical properties, they're also believed to have spiritual occult properties. So some herbs in medicine may relieve pain, they may cause drowsiness. Some herbs are poisonous. But there are also occult properties to herbs, such as healing, cleansing, prosperity. So the knowledge of herbs and stones and things like that is very important to many different systems of folk magic. Now, what herbs you use will depend on your intent. If you are uncrossing someone, then you would use uncrossing herbs such as hyssop, rue, agrimony, things like that. If it's a love spell, then you would use damiana, red roses, coriander, things like that. If it's a prosperity spell, then you may put alfalfa in there. You put in prosperity herbs. So the herbs is specific to the working. That's the first thing. You're going to put your herbs into the doll. The second thing you'll need is personal concerns. Now, personal concerns is what links the doll to your target. Personal concerns is something that links the doll to the person that you are affecting. These could be hair, fingernails, things that come from their body are believed to really have their energy in it. So hair clippings can go in the doll, blood, fingernail clippings, things like that connects the doll to the person you're affecting. Or you could use clothing that they owned and wore a lot. In fact, if you're making a cloth doll, you could even make the whole doll out of their shirt or something. You can take a button from their clothing and sew it into the doll. So anything that connects the doll to the target. Names, you could write their name on a piece of paper, a picture. But names and pictures are not believed to be as effective as something that actually has their energy. Now, I'm mostly approaching this from a hoodoo perspective. In this tradition, it's not all about your intent and your focus and your mind. Some magic traditions, chaos magic especially, are really popular in your neo-paganism, in your Wicca, some forms of ceremonial magic. They believe that it's all your intent, what it symbolizes to you, how it resonates, and that's not how this works. This uses the actual qualities of the herbs and things like that. So this is not a thought equals reality tradition. Personal concerns are said to have the actual energy. You will need something to connect to your target. Hair clippings, anything like that in the doll. Herbs in the doll. And these two items are going to be placed in the doll. This is very important. So, if you're doing a love spell for someone, you may put in damiana, red rose petals, coriander. And then you're going to put in that person's hair, fingernails. You may sew a button from a shirt they wore. So, personal concerns and herbs to the work is what goes inside the doll. Now you have to bring it to life. You have to bring your spirit doll to life. Okay? And I know many people are saying, do you mean literally to life? Yes. Maybe not like you or me, but yes, you are creating a magical entity, a being that houses some of the spirit of the person you're affecting. So yes, you are creating a living thing. This is not something that represents something in your mind. It's a symbol. No, you're creating a living entity that is supposed to have the spirit of the person you're affecting. So, how do you bring the doll to life? There are different methods. In Conjure, it's really popular to baptize the doll in the person's name. Christianity does have a pretty big influence on Hoodoo. So, you may baptize the doll with whiskey, In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the person's name. That's one way. You can breathe life into the doll. Whatever method you're using, you need to infuse this doll with energy and with that person's energy. So, those are the three basic important things of a spirit doll. You can make a cloth doll, sew it up, and inside the doll you put in the herbs and personal concerns. And then you simply do a ritual to activate it, bring it to life. Okay, so what are some different ways that you could use your doll? You got your cloth doll, you got your herbs and personal concerns. How do you use it? For uncrossing or cleansing someone, often this is used to spiritually cleanse someone long distance. A cloth doll may not be ideal. You may need wax or clay. And you'll simply do a spiritual bath on the doll. You could take your cleansing or uncrossing herbs and heat this in water into a sort of tea. And then you will wash the doll to cleanse them. And then you may take a white candle and carve that person's name around it. And anoint the candle with uncrossing herbs. And burn the candle next to the doll. So you can do a cleansing like that. You could also do a blessing. Same concept. You could do a love spell to bring a couple together. You could make two dolls, one for the man, one for the woman, or whatever your orientation is, whatever. A doll for each of the two couples. And you would put love herbs, his personal concerns, the other person's personal concerns, and then you may bind these together with yarn or rope to bind this couple together. And then you may burn some red candles around it with love oil on the candles. And you may put this into a bed of rose petals. Okay? So that is how you can use it in a love spell. If it is for peaceful home, you could put lavender, borage, herbs that represent peace. If you're doing a healing, this is really popular to heal someone. Let's say you've got someone in the hospital. You would simply put healing herbs, light some white candles, and recite prayers for their healing. And, of course, you can use these for negative work. You can bind someone's actions. You could bind it with cord to restrict their actions. You could do an actual curse, sticking pins and needles and burning it. So, yeah, I mean, those are just some things that you could use, just naming off the top of my head. So, love spells, healing work, prosperity. This is used for all kinds of positive things. So it's not just negative work. This is used to help people a lot of times. You're helping someone. Okay? So the whole voodoo doll, black magic, sticking needles, pins, that's just one small aspect that the movie industry in Hollywood has blown way out of proportion. You got your herbs, your personal concerns, you activate it. Now, one more important thing. When you're finished, you don't just throw it away. You don't do that. When you're finished with the doll, you have to disassemble it. And this is the hard part for a lot of people. You need to do a ritual to deactivate the doll. You may cleanse it in whiskey and just say, you know, your tie to this person is broken. You will deactivate it. And then, after you deactivate it, then you can burn it You can bury it at a crossroads, whatever. Throw it into running water. It's important to deactivate it and really focus your mind that it's no longer connected to them. So you always deactivate your doll. And that is the basic idea of a spirit doll. You have your herbs and personal concerns. You activate it. And there, as I said before, there are 3 basic elements to magic. You have your link to the target, the personal concerns. You have the symbol of your goal, which would be the actual binding or whatever you're doing. Magic can be defined as a symbolic ritual act done to create some sort of a change. And spirit dolls are used to affect someone. Okay, and that's basically it. Free lesson, of course. This is YouTube, it's free. These are free lessons on magic. And in future videos, we will go more in depth into different types of workings and how they work. So anyways, thank you for joining me. And once again, this is Taliesin McKnight. And have a great day, y'all.